So, hi Deb, it's great to see you.
Hiya. And you?
Yeah, it's lovely to have the chance to do this little video for those SIPs who are coming new to the role, which is very exciting.
Absolutely, really exciting and really pleased, really, they're coming on board with us in our approach across the region. So yeah, good news.
Great. And when we last met together, we met with a whole load of, current SIPs, and we started off our day with a conversation between us, really. We were setting the context and the ambition. And we had a bit of a chat about the approach you're taking to school improvement in EAS from your perspective, and why it's so important. And also why the role of the SIP is so key to its success. So why don't you share your thinking, Deb, and then we'll see how the conversation goes.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks again, Maggie, for the opportunity. I suppose for me, when we met with the SIPs last time, there were some really important key messages that I needed to be able to share with them in a really open and transparent way. And I think where we think about what our school improvement model is across the region, it's constantly evolving. I think where do we want to get to? We've always had that vision of the notion of a self-improving system. And as a region, and when I talk about us as a region, I'm talking about with our local authorities, with our directors, with our executive members for education. There was a really clear vision about how we empower all our schools and settings across the region to be an absolutely integral part of our model for school improvement. And that model really encompasses the work of our school improvement partners, but also that broader context of how we approach school to school working with regards to supporting schools to meet, I suppose, their own individual school improvement priorities. So we've made quite a shift over the last 6 to 8 years, really, around trying to embed an innovative, a collaborative model, one that is developing that lateral trust-based accountability across our system, and trying to also reframe our relationship and our engagement with schools, with practitioners, to make sure actually that we remain focused on children and young people and the type of education and the progress they're making. So we've invested a very large proportion now of the resource that we get into the service, again with agreement from our key partners, back into our school system to help fund that key important role that the school improvement partners take, and also that broader partner school model that we have.
Yeah, wow, great. Look, I know it is, but when hearing you talk, Deb, it sounds like such a significant mindset shift, culture shift to a much deeper, more sustainable approach to school improvement, which is collaborative, schools-led, engaging beyond your own school in terms of improvement and so on, and really potentially quite transformative. And obviously the role of SIPs as serving leaders is key to that message. So as SIPs begin to do the work with the schools and with the school leaders, embodying this message, because it's very easy to have that message, but then to operate in a more traditional manner sometimes as a SIP. What are your hopes for what they model and what they embody when they're working with school leaders in order to support this cultural shift and this trust-based being the key, trust-based lateral accountability?
Yeah, I think just to go back, I think to one of the first points that you raised there and you pointed out, the journey hasn't been by accident. I think it's been tested on a very small scale. in the very early days, and we've learnt from things that have worked well in the system and things that have not gone so well. But the core to the model that we are trying to develop is a huge culture change process. It is about, as you've said, shifting from a more traditional model of school improvement, shifting mindsets and building that belief and in the ways of working, that they can actually bring about positive change to the system. I think we've all recognised that actually the role of the school improvement partner is a lever for positive change. It's also a lever to bring that knowledge and that understanding and that expertise that we have across the region and beyond from existing school leaders and sharing that across the system. It does, it focuses on credibility. It focuses on the school improvement partner having the capacity within their own school to be able to do that work, and also enabling others in their school then to have that opportunity to lead and to step up. And much of the feedback that we've had from the school improvement partners to date is actually that for themselves to become true systems leaders across our region, they are learning themselves. So it becomes a capacity building process, and hopefully one that leads to more sustained school improvement and that greater system maturity. But in saying that, it's not easy. It's not easy from our perspective to organise, to arrange and to ensure quality. So we're absolutely reliant on our school improvement partners, of which there are now around about 100 of them in the system, to really understand how important their role is in helping us and our local authorities to know schools well, and to be able to develop that real constructive challenge and support that still needs to be in the system.
Terrific. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, if I was a new SIP, I'd be really excited by that. Maybe a little daunted as well, but really excited. And I know when we met in July, one of the things that you kept saying, and it was picked up by the group, was, with this great opportunity to be a SIP and to play a role as a system leader, also comes responsibilities in terms of quality conversations, appropriate challenge, and also documentation regarding impact. And as you kept saying, if the conversation isn't documented using the processes and systems we have, as far as we and the local authority are concerned, never happened, however good it might have been. And that was something that you kept saying, and that responsibility to both complete the documentation, which we know for school leaders, it's like, now I've got to do this. And there are ways in which you can do it there and then in the moment, and it shouldn't be onerous. But you were very clear about the impact stories and the impact stories we tell about our schools to each other and to the local authority is what is going to make the success of this, building on all the good conversations you have as a SIP. So I'm just giving you an opportunity to just say that again, because it was so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously with the role of SIP, there are many benefits. We've talked about, the benefits to one's own professional learning, the ability to network, the ability to be part of a wider system and cultural change. I think it is an exciting opportunity. It's also one that, as you say, unfortunately does come with a set of parameters, and we are continually working with SIPs in the system to try to make those as refined, as responsive as we possibly can. But ultimately, we need to record our work. We need to be very clear about how we record it, what our intentions are, what difference we are making in the system, and being really clear about that diligence that we need, the consistency, the timeliness, of those reports. And I think sometimes that's the part of the role that some SIPs and equally partners indeed within the EAS find challenging, time consuming. And again, you know, we will work with people to try to minimize that, but ultimately we are accountable to many players within the system, and we have to make sure that we have consistency and quality, and we are making a difference to children and young people. So it is a part of the job, a part of the role that is absolutely necessary. And I don't want that message to get lost. You know, I think there's something about being transparent, being upfront about what the role entails, and that is part of it. However, we will work really hard, and again with our local authorities, to make sure that we're spending our time on the improving more than the proving. But it doesn't mean that we don't need both. So it's a process that we absolutely need.
Yeah, I agree. So, you know, Deb, as we talk again, it really strikes me, this is really courageous work and ambitious work, underpinned by a very strong set of core principles and values. So, yes, as we close this conversation, is there anything else you want to say?
I think it would be remiss of me not to say thank you. Thank you to the people that are already doing the role with us, and for their patience and their resilience. And I think what I would also say is that that role of SIP is pivotal. I think we're all taking some calculated risks in moving to this approach as a region, and as with all things, you know, that we do as a collective, there will be attention on the work that we do, and we want that attention to be captured in the most possible positive light, and we want to be able to demonstrate a real shift in culture, and more importantly, improvements in the classroom, improvements in leadership, improvements in our schools, so that children and young people have the best chances and experiences that they can. And that role of SIP is absolutely pivotal to the work we do, and we couldn't do it without those head teachers that are joining us, and those that have been with us for some time. You know, I am absolutely in awe of their ability to be able to juggle the two roles, but we couldn't do it without them. So I think our values of integrity, innovation and collaboration are equally important to the work they do and the work we do as an organisation, and we are a team. So I think that's of critical importance.
Yeah, terrific. So look, we'll meet again, and we'll meet the team in July. So yes, very much looking forward to that.
Great. Thanks, Maggie.